Katie here from the Scrappy Sisters, and I am back today with a layout for Confessions of a Paper Addict. Oh, it seems every time I do my voiceovers at the moment need to clear my throat. So I am using the Ready, Set, Go cut file, which you probably saw from the thumbnail. But before you see the cut file, I'm going to do some mixed media in the background. So I think this is Faded Jeans, Distress Oxide, I think. If anyone wants to know the exact colours, let me know and I'll put them in the description box down below. It's a bit tricky because I am on my iPhone and I can't quite see the names on the little tiny screen, but I could definitely just jump on my stash and have a look. But I think that one's Faded Jeans. So I'm just using a baby wipe just to wipe up the excess around the edge so I don't accidentally get it on anything else. I've got my Tim Holtz mixed media mat, which was a new to me purchase. Don't tell my partner this, but I bought it so he could give it to me for Christmas, and then we decided that we weren't doing Christmas presents for each other, so I just gave it to myself. It's totally allowed, right? But I knew my local scrapbooking store had it. When I went in, they stock a lot of Tim Holtz products, and when I saw it there, I was like, I have to buy this because it's really heavy and getting it posted is expensive, and I thought I might not see it. They only had one. I'm like, it might not be here after Christmas. So I just picked it up. And I'm really happy with it, and I'm glad I did. So now I just gave it to myself before Christmas and started using it. Oh, sorry. That one might have been Salty Ocean that I just used, and I think this one's Bundled Sage. Maybe. And I'm using the packaging techniques. I'm adding water and then just kissing it down onto the paper. I'm not very good at this. I know this packaging that I've used is way too big and it doesn't give you enough control over the packaging, so it ends up just kind of splotching everywhere, which is sort of the point. But I do end up, I don't think I would use a full 12 by 12 plastic sheet again. I think I would cut it into a slightly smaller piece of plastic, make it a little bit easier to use. So this is my cut file, Ready, Set, Go. And I've got photos of my son. I think I showed you in a Wiggles car. So I really wanted to bring in this red, which I think is Festive Berries. But I wanted to add a little bit of red. So I'm actually getting my fan brush, and I added some water to the Distress Oxide, and I'm getting my fan brush and I'm adding in splatters. So if this is something you like, you want to have splatters but you don't necessarily have mists but you have ink, fear not. You can turn your ink into splatters by just smooshing a bit of ink on the page, smooshing the ink pad on the page, adding some water, and then away you go. So yeah, don't think that you need to have all of the products to get the same effect. You don't. So you should totally use your inks or whatever you have to create your own mists. Excuse me. So as I said, just cleaning up my mess so that I can make sure I don't get ink onto, the ephemera and the papers and my photos that I bring out now. I do dry this off, but because I soaked up the ink with my paper towel, or the excess of it, it's actually pretty dry and it doesn't require much to dry it off, which I really like about the Distress Oxides. I'm also using Vicky Bouton's foundation paper for the first time. So very pleased with that. It is very thick, which I like. So I need to play around with it a little bit more. I haven't done any ink blending or anything on it, but I was very happy with my first attempt. Fun fact. So these are my cute photos of my son in Thomas's Wiggles car that Tom got for his birthday. I think it was his birthday. Jess will have to correct me. I'm sure it was his birthday. It might have been Christmas. I think it was his birthday. Which was his second birthday in September, and these photos were taken in June, July, somewhere around then, and Lincoln hadn't really seen the car before. Like, he had seen it at Tom's birthday, but it was too little, and he's become recently obsessed with cars. So he was so excited when Jess brought it out and let them have a play with it. He would not get out of it. It was so cute. It's one of those electric cars, so when we showed him that he could move it, it was so cute. So I snapped a few photos, knew I wanted to scrapbook them. Excuse me while I have a drink. So I have wanted to bring a little bit more red into the layout. Now, red is not a colour you get very often in scrapbook collections, except if you're doing like love Valentine's Day themed layout. Collections. Otherwise, red is not a super prominent colour. And there was a little bit in this. I can't remember which Echo Park collection this is, but it's an Echo Park Boys collection. And so I pulled this one out because it had the red in it. It's not necessarily, I shouldn't say it's a boys collection. There are a few ephemera pieces that definitely specifically mention boys. Otherwise, it is more of a collection about outdoor adventures, let's say, cars, trees. There's even some, I think, like swimming related things. I think there's some baseball sporty stuff. So if you have a child who's into any of those things, this would also be a good collection. And you could just either cover up the boy specific ephemera or just not use it. There's not that much of it. So yeah, layering up my photos with some of the papers that I use to back the cut file, and then I will put my layout together. So I will leave the direct link to this Ready, Set, Go cut file in the description box down below, as well as a link to the Confessions of a Paper Addict Facebook group, which I always do, just so you can come and join us there for fun times. Virginia does release free cut files, so you definitely should come and join. But then I love using large Word cut files. I love it because it just makes pages, in my personal opinion, come together very quickly. And I know I've said this before, but I'm going to say it again. If you are new to cut files, starting with big titles is a great place to start, because if you're a bit nervous about cut files, or maybe you've got a friend cutting you out some, or you've just, got yourself a cut file machine and you don't know where to start, this is a great place to start because they're easy to use. You've got your title already created for you. They're easy to back. They're not super intricate, and you can have a lot of fun with them, and they create a large kind of design element for you. The other ones I would recommend to start with are full kind of background cut files for kind of the same reasons. They're very easy to work with. They create kind of, a full background, and you can do whatever you like on top of them. So definitely, yeah, that would be my tips. If you are beginners in the cut file world, start there. So I'm sticking down my Ready, Set, Go. Now, I've said this in a couple of other videos. I am intentionally keeping my layouts a lot flatter than I usually would. This is because my albums are just getting too full. And if this means I can squeeze an extra kind of layer or two into my layouts, then that would be great. So I'm still using foam, as you can see, but I am trying to only pop things up kind of one layer. So I don't want to go any higher than sort of one layer of foam onto my layouts. So yeah, that's what I'm aiming for. So I stuck down the Ready and the Go flat onto my layout. All my photos are stuck down flat, and then I'm just popping up the set word on some foam. And I found some old foam when I was cleaning up my craft room, and I thought there were just a few, I'd made some shaker cards. It's a long story, but I had a few random little bits of foam left, and I went to throw them out and I went, oh, that's silly, I can use those. So I sat them on my desk, and I wanted to make sure that I used them in the kind of most recent layouts I created. So that's what I did, and I think I've nearly used it all up, which is exciting. So I'm doing that, and then I'm going to come in and create some clusters. I just create 3 clusters, and they're not particularly large because there's a lot going on this page already. If you're a very simple scrapbooker, you could definitely kind of leave this page as is, add a couple of enamel dots, if you like, or some Nuvo drops, and you'd be done, and it would look lovely. So I do personally add ephemera because I like it, but if you are a minimal scrapper and you're not someone that adds a lot of ephemera, you don't have to. Look at this, look at it now, as is. Super cute. It's amazing what some layering and a large cut file can do. Oh, I said I stuck down all my photos flat. I'm such a liar. I pop up one of my photos on one layer of foam. So there you go. Oh, and because this isn't fun foam with an adhesive backing on either side, I just needed to give it a second for the glue to take hold. just trimming off the edge of my photo that hung over. And then see what I mean? You could totally leave it like this, you know, add a few enamel dots if that's your thing, add some Nuvo drops. You wouldn't have to do any more, you really wouldn't. So I'm playing around a little bit with the ephemera that came in the collection. So I only bought the collection pack, which was, no I didn't buy that at all. I bought maybe 3 sheets of 12 by 12 paper, the 6 by 6 paper pad, the ephemera and the sticker sheet, and the puffy stickers. So I didn't buy, I only bought 3 sheets of 12 by 12, I guess is what I'm saying. And then just tried to stick with a little bit less. So you can see me here kind of playing around a little bit with what, you know, with the sticker sheets and some of the ephemera. I basically wanted to pull out everything that was car related and get it onto this page. And so that's what I did. And you can see what I mean about this collection. It's very kind of outdoorsy, adventure based. So while I said it was a boy collection, and I said there are a couple of ephemera pieces that specifically use the word boy, otherwise you could use it for anyone who loves adventures. Adults as well. I don't think this is always just a kids collection. I could definitely see a few adults in my life who love adventures would really, I could make some cute layouts with this. So I had to duck away. This is the next day. But basically I stuck down all of my ephemera, and then I'm just coming in with some of the puffy stickers and just adding a puffy sticker into each of the clusters. So I've created 3 clusters, one around my 2 photos in the bottom left, one on the right hand side, and then one on the cut file for the word ready. And there you go, just trimming that off. Sorry, I had to sneeze. That probably sounded a bit weird, and I didn't want to sneeze on my voiceover because I didn't want to deafen you all. So I have trimmed off the excess that was hanging over. I've put on my puffy stickers. I've created my 3 little embellishment clusters. I've used up all of the things that had cars related to them, and I'm going through, I've got a little organizer on my desk with a couple of little drawers that house all of my enamel dots, and I don't use them very often and they're starting to lose their stick. So I'm trying really hard to use them up. So I went through and I found, these aren't actually enamel dots, they're stars. They're like metallic stars that I got from Stampin' Up, and I had a few and I just put them all on my layout. So there are a couple of extras that don't fit into my 3 clusters on each. But I stuck them on anyway because I didn't want any left over. So I don't know if other people do that, but I just had, I think I had like 1 extra one. So one of my clusters has 4 stars in it, and I'm okay with that because I wanted to use it all. I wasn't going to be left with 1 little star on that on that sheet. Now I'm coming in with, again, do I use the white acrylic ink? I think I do. So I'm going to cover my photos because I don't want them to get splatters on Lincoln's face. And when you use a fan brush, it is very difficult to kind of control where you're splattering, if that makes sense. Like it really does go everywhere. So you can see me putting my hand over my ephemera because I forgot to put that away, and it does have a very kind of wide splatter area. Is that I'm trying to say that splatters go everywhere. So definitely just be mindful of that if you are using the fan brush technique to add splatters. And I think I've said this in an earlier video. They're a very fine kind of splatter. You can get thicker ones because obviously you can put a lot of ink on the page, but it also creates a very fine kind of mist with the fine fan brush that I have, and so it does go everywhere. And you can sort of see it speckled on my mat, and it does take some like deliberate cleaning to remove them, but that's fine. They come off the glass very easily. So here are my close-up photos of my layout. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will leave a link in the description box down below to the cut file from Confessions of a Paper Addict, as well as to the Facebook group, so you can come and hang out with us. Thank you so much for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in our next video. Thanks guys, bye!